What's up, guys? ArtistVersion1 here, and welcome back to another edition of Stories No One Asked for the podcast. If you don't know by now, about 4 years ago now, I wrote a little book called, Stories No One Asked for the podcast. And upon numerous attempts of trying to write a follow up, I just couldn't focus and do it. So I just take those stories that would have been used for a book and verbalize them, put them into this podcast, and occasionally bring on guests to talk about their stories that you didn't ask for. And that's what I've done here tonight. I finally got them. It took fucking weeks and weeks of getting them to fucking do it. But this cat I've known for like, yeah, it's him. Yeah, I've known this cat for like almost a quarter of a fucking century now. Justus has made it to the podcast tonight. Say hi.
Hey,
There you
hello.
go. Yeah. But before we get Justice, because we got some stories that we want to tell you guys and everything. But before we get to that, we got to give a great shout out to the people over at MoviesRUSA.biz. And if you don't know what MoviesRUSA.biz is, it's a great website where you can head on over and find those hard to find movies, hard to find TV shows that aren't available in physical media or haven't been available in physical media in quite a long time. And you can head on over there and use my checkout code ARTIST, ARTIST, at checkout and save yourself 50% on your entire purchase. And on top of all that, you'll get free first class shipping as well. And they have over 3,500 titles to choose from. I just picked up the new Mean Girls and the Iron Claw about the Von Erichs there, which kind of a depressing movie, really, but still worth it. So if you don't want to wait for it to come on Max, which is eventually coming, or don't want to pay the $20 rental fee from Amazon, head on over to moviesrusa.biz, get it for 50% off, and then it's yours to keep forever. You have a physical copy. Don't have to worry about, Max taking it off about a month later. Who knows? So head on over to moviesrusa.biz today. Use that checkout code ARTIST. Save yourself 50% on your purchase. And also, I want to mention here, if Justice sounds a little weird, is because we're doing a different recording setup today because Dumbass got rid of his internet. Um, because
My name is Justice. Let me clarify. My name is not dumbass.
for this episode, it should be Dumbass because you fucking deleted you got rid of your goddamn internet, you fucking idiot. He's like, yeah, we'll do it Monday. That sounds good. Then he calls me and he's like, oh, I forgot. I got rid of internet. I can't get on Skype.
I'm switching services. You're making it sound like I'm just going off the grid completely, which I'd like to do, but my girlfriend won't let me. But
and then on top of all that, I was like, okay, that's fine. You got rid of internet. You have unlimited data on your phone. We can just do Skype on the phone. He's like, oh, I have a flip phone. I'm like, what is this, 1998? Like, what the fuck? What do you have, like one of those giant... Next thing you know, you're going to have one of those giant gray brick phones and shit.
Well, I'm just trying to, A, save money, B, just not be stuck on a screen all the time.
Yeah.
So, I have a flip phone.
So, like I mentioned, we've known each other almost like a fucking quarter of a century, man. Like, fucking almost 25 fucking years we've known each other. And, so, I want to hear from your perspective. Because a lot of these stories that, like, you've heard from my perspective. And you'll probably hear from my perspective again here tonight. But, like, some of these I'm really curious to hear from your perspective. And I know that my memory is not as good as yours. So I'm curious to see what parts you remember and such. So, from your perspective, how did we meet?
So, this is what I remember.
Okay.
This was, and maybe I'm, mixing stuff up because it was a long time ago,
Yeah.
but the story goes, it was my first day of middle school on the bus. And I remember getting on the bus, and the kids were really mean. Like, they were mean.
Yeah.
Like, I remember a kid who, I'm not going to say names, but he's like the quarterback. This is so stereotypical. He's like the quarterback of the football team. And, like, some other kid, I don't even know, but they're like 8th graders, right?
Mm.
And they're like, I was chubby, and they're calling me names. They said I had tits and stuff like that. And you got to understand, I went to like a really like innocent, like goody-goody elementary school at Youngsville. But then Cedar Creek, you mixed in with Franklinton, and it's just a different universe.
Yeah.
And the kids were mean, and I remember you let me sit. It's kind of like Forrest Gump, where Forrest Gump couldn't sit on the bus. Everybody said, seat's taken, and Bubba let him sit. That's what That's how I remember it.
See, I remember you sitting with us, and like it wasn't the first day of school. I know that because it was like around your birthday, and at the time, the only person I really talked to on the bus was Nikki C. I won't say the full name, but you know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one day, like me and Nikki, we really talked about music a lot. And one day we were talking about Mambo Number Five, and you happened to be sitting next to me. And at the time, we didn't know each other from fucking Adam, you know. And we started talking about Mambo Number Five. All of a sudden, you turn around and you're just like, "Oh, I like that song," and that's where it fucking started. You know, and then we got fucking chatting, and all of a sudden you're like, "Hey, I'm having a birthday party. You should come." And I'm like, "Fucking A." And then it fucking, we all know where it went from there. You know?
So maybe what I remember, maybe I don't know. Maybe I didn't ride the bus on the first day of school. That might be what it is too.
Because because it was close to your birthday, which is fucking March.
Right. Yeah. So.
But all because of fucking Lou Bega is because we started talking. Who knows? If Mama Number Five never came out, we wouldn't be sitting here right now.
That might be. That might be true. But see, I'm remembering that too. But I'm remembering getting on the bus. But I wonder if I had already. That's when I first talked to you, and then like maybe it was another day.
I don't think we had, because like we rode the same bus and everything, but like I don't know, our paths I don't think ever crossed until that day. Because like I'm pretty sure that was the first time we talked was when you finally turned around and was just like, "Hey, I like that song," because at the time I didn't like it. I didn't grow into that song till later. And then all of a sudden you turned around to me and Nikki and you were just like, "Hey, I like that song. I think it's pretty good." And we're just like, "Whatever, fat boy." We're like, "Whatever, tubby tits."
Oh, please. Oh, please. Okay. I'm not even. You're not even gonna pop. You're gonna pop shots like you were like Brad Pitt or something.
Like, oh, hell yeah.
I wish we could just show your picture from that year right now. Like you flash
I know, right?
Screen.
Oh my god. So yeah, so that's essentially how we met. So then we started we connected over again music, but we also connected over wrestling, which at the time you and I were pretty hardcore into it. Like all of our friends at the time were into it, and like everybody at one time or another eventually drifted out of it, including you. You eventually came back, but everybody drifted out of it except for me.
Yes, this is 100% true.
But now, so, a little backstory here. At one time, Justus's parents, banned everything wrestling from the house. Was that part of the reason that you drifted out of it? Or was it just like, all right, I'm fucking over it?
I think that's definitely the main reason, because you've got to, and it's funny because, that had to have only been 7 weeks, which in the mind of a middle schooler, that's like an eternity.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's like I fell out of the stories because I couldn't see it. Mm. So that's all. I mean, that's what I remember. I don't think. I think if I do I think I'd have definitely watched it longer had I not.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, it was wrestling was pretty mainstream.
Now,
middle school at that time.
Now, before you were actually banned from wrestling, here's the first story. I've been sitting on this story for a while, and I haven't been telling my live audience or anything about it. I've been sitting on this one, been wanting to tell it, but here we go. So, I get a call one day from Justus. It's a Sunday, and I get a call, and it's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "What's up?" And he's just like, "Do you have $40?" And I was just like, "No, why?" He's like, "For $40, you can come with us to go see SummerSlam." And I'm like, "Give me some time. Now, do you want to take the rest of the story from here, or should I?"
I think you tell it well, so go ahead.
Well, it's supposed to be the story you didn't ask for. So I asked my mom, and at the time, her boyfriend, And like they were really confused on like they're like, "Are you going to watch it on a screen?" I'm like, "No, we're going to SummerSlam." Like SummerSlam 2000. Now at the time, Justin has been to. I think you've been to like little indie shows, but you've never been to a WWE show at that point, have you?
No, I think that was my. I had never been to a wrestling show.
Oh, you never been
That
to?
was
Oh,
my.
I thought you went to like little independents with like your dad.
I went to one house show, but it was like after that.
Oh, okay.
I
So,
had never been to wrestling.
so my mom and her boyfriend they pony up the $40. Now this is like the span of like couldn't have been more than 20 minutes, you know. So I called back and I was like, dude, I got the $40. We're fucking golden. We're solid. And he's just like, oh, well, we're actually gonna get the $60 tickets. I was like, to me, that didn't mean a goddamn thing. I was just like, okay, good for y'all. You know, they're like, yeah, sorry. I was like, well, don't be sorry. Fuck us. Again, I'm not catching on to what he's saying. You know? So he was just like, no, you can't go unless you have the 60. I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean I can't go unless I have the 60? You know? And he was just like, well, I mean, you got to sit with us. And I was like, no, fuck that, man. Like, I'll buy the $40 seat. Y'all fucking sit 60. I'll meet y'all at the car. Which, in my eyes, was a very reasonable fucking compromise. You know? And they're just like, no, we can't take that risk. I'm like, what risk? Like, this is SummerSlam 2000. My first wrestling show would have been SummerSlam 2000 if it wasn't for his fucking dumbass dad at the time. Don't get me wrong, I fucking love his family. I mean, like, his family's taken very good care of me in the past and everything, but at the time, his dad was a dumbass. Okay? Because I was fucking livid. You know? Because Justice, to this day, tries to justify that fucking action.
I'm still going to, but I'm going to let you go on.
No, that's all I got to say, because I think it's bullshit.
All right, so we get to clarify for the audience.
Okay, go ahead.
How old were you at the time?
That's actually the audience. That's none of the audience's business.
You can't say that.
Well, no, the audience does not know my age, so.
Okay, so at the time you were definitely like in middle school, right?
Okay, yeah, just
so
say
like
that,
you were pretty young.
Yeah, okay.
So from my dad's perspective, he couldn't just let you like go sit somewhere else. Now we could have maybe.
Like what? Like the guy next to me was gonna get like retard strength and shove his dick in my mouth or something?
I mean, you never know. I mean, you never know. Maybe not that, but like something, something could have happened. So it's just kind of like. Now I don't remember why we switched the tickets from that kind to that kind. I don't remember at all. So I mean, it was a long time ago. But yeah, as far as like you sitting somewhere else.
Because like to me, I was just like, all right, fine, y'all go sit whatever. Because like I didn't care. I was just like, fuck, I'm going to SummerSlam. I don't give a fuck. You know, I could be sitting next to fucking Big Bubba and Bertha for all I give a fuck. You know, like that was the year they had the TLC match. Blackman and Shane McMahon falling off the fucking, you know, the scaffold or whatever. I was like, I don't give a shit, man. Like, fuck, I'll just meet y'all at the car, man. As long as I know where we park, fuck, I'll meet you there. And they're just like, no, that's not going to work. And like, in my brain at the time, I'm just like, why isn't this computing with y'all? You know? I've sat on that for fucking 24 years. You know?
You have, for
I
sure.
have, and it still pisses me off to this day. You know?
I mean, I feel like, I can't really, I don't remember. I was like 13, but like I should have been like, let's just get the $40 ones. But I don't remember if he accidentally bought the, I don't remember how.
No, I remember.
Down.
No, because like you called and was just like, hey, do you have $40? No. Why? SummerSlam. Okay, cool. Let me work on this. So I go ask mom and her boyfriend who happened to be there at the time. And, you know, explain the whole situation. And they're just like, okay. So they gave me the money. This is like in the span of like 20 minutes. So I call you back and I was just like, hey, I got the money. And you're just like, oh, we're actually upgrading to the $60 seats. And then that's when.
Were they 60?
You're upgrading to a better tier. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah. I'm just saying.
I think it was 60, but like I know y'all upgraded to like better seats. And to me, I didn't give a shit. I was like, whatever, I'll meet y'all at the car. You know, like that was my plan. Like I'll sit fucking wherever, you know, and like I'll meet y'all at the car after the show. And y'all were just like, that's not happening. I'm like, what? You know, So because of Justice's big dumbass, I missed SummerSlam that year.
It's all my fault.
Yeah.
It's definitely all my fault, and I should repent. I mean, there's really nothing I can do because you can never replace that TLC match. But that doesn't make the situation.
No, it doesn't. No. I mean, I got to see the last pay-per-view match of Eddie Guerrero, so I guess it kind of makes up for it a little bit.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Are you there live?
Yeah.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty legit.
Now, last night I was on YouTube Live and I was hyping up your appearance here and everything. So they wanted confirmation on this. God, I hope you remember this so you can be like, yeah, I did see that. Can you confirm that at one time on your trampoline that we spent many, many hours on, did I once pull off a 450 splash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
That's all we needed to hear there. Now we hung out. We've been we've done a lot of shit together. So one thing that I do have to bring up for the pod here is I got to bring it up. I got to bring up Jelly Beans.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jelly Beans was essentially a skating rink, and at one point was like the fucking nightclub for us.
Yeah, definitely was that.
Yeah, because like that's where we thought for a while that we're like, that's where we're going to get laid. The same girls that didn't want to fuck us in high school, we thought like we're gonna turn them around here.
Oh, because this. Oh, okay, yeah. In my 13-year-old brain at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I thought.
I was just like, man, that fucking corn jersey's gonna score Angelica this time,
Oh my god! Anyway, where is this going? Before, like,
I'm just talking about shit. That's all. Justice used to be a big Korn fan because remember when Korn was popular for about 2 weeks, something like that.
Maybe it was longer than that. Korn was popular.
But like he had this like huge Korn jersey, man, and like whenever we went, like. God, we went to a school dance one time. The fucking Korn jersey was on. Jelly Beans. Whenever Justice is just probably in his brain, like, oh fuck, man, I'm gonna get laid tonight, man. The Korn jersey went on.
I never said that, but anyway, I'm just gonna say I never said that. Go ahead.
Or the ICP shirt, either one. Because I got Justice in the ICP, just by the way. He denies it up and down, but no.
I do. Well, technically, like I knew who they were though before I knew you, but I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And now he's the biggest fucking juggalo like ever.
I don't know about that. Not anymore, man.
Really?
I like ICP. Yeah, but like I listen to like jazz and blues and stuff, man.
Well, yeah, you did kind of like broaden your horizon there a little bit. But like, yeah, still, you're the only cat that I know that I can name an ICP song and like you can tell me what album and track number it is and shit.
I can do that. Yeah, I don't deny that. But I know a guy. Now I'll say this: I know a guy. So like, no, there's no doubt. Like I've been to the gathering twice. Like it's like obviously like.
I thought you went more than twice.
Just twice. That's still 2 times. That's a 12-hour drive, man. Like
I could have swore you went like 6 times.
I've been to like 6 concerts.
Oh shit.
Like I've been to I've seen them in concert like 6 times. But I went to the gathering 2 times.
Oh shit. I could have swore it was more.
2 is still a lot. Most people don't even go once. So 2 is a lot. Though I do know a guy who's been to like 15.
Damn.
So like or maybe not 50. Well like 10. So this is off topic. I know you're trying to talk about.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Like, this guy is legit as into ICP now as like I was when I was like 13, and like kind of like how you are with wrestling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like where you never veered off and got like you may have other interests, but you've been pretty consistent, right?
Yeah.
This dude is definitely the most hardcore. And I know this because I've been to the gathering. This guy is probably the most hardcore juggalo on earth. And he lives in Durham. He's a nice guy. He works at like the hospital at Duke. in Durham.
Look, he's a nice guy, but I heard juggalos are gang members.
No, not at all. The opposite. The most opposite. It's the most ridiculous. I mean, he's a big, like, he's like a wrestling fan. Like, a lot of juggalos are like wrestling. And I did see some decent wrestling. They have some okay stuff at the gathering. Some of it is kind of, I want to say, like, super indie bush league kind of stuff. But anyway, he's hardcore into it, man. Like, I'm talking about, like, he's got like a little club that's like within it. So like, there's juggalos, but then he has like this other little club. It's like for hardcore juggalos, and like, he goes to the gathering every year.
So when was the last time you went to the gathering?
It's been 10 years, man.
Really?
Yeah.
I could have sworn you went like.
Man, William. Like,
I could have sworn you went like more than twice, and like, damn, I thought you were still going and shit. Like,
nah, I'm not saying. No, look, I still listen to, like, sometimes. I'm not gonna deny, like, I still listen to ICP sometimes. Like, like you said, you can name a track, but it's not. They're not like.
And let me clarify, like, it's not just like the big songs. Like, I can't just say like, "Let's Go All the Way," and he's like, "Oh, fucking Bizarre," Bizarre. But like, no, I can name like the most obscure fucking track from an ICP album, and he'll know what fucking album it is. Yeah,
I mean, that's pretty. I mean, well, let's put it this way. What I am the biggest fan of is music, and I'm a huge. I will say that as far as me, I am more into music than anything that I'm into, and I listen to a lot. I mean, you don't really know, like, you know that, like, because I like ICP, but like, I've gone past that. I'm not talking down about it, but it is ICP that's when I really started. Like, I mean, I would just listen to music specifically Insane Clown Posse for like hours. So like, where people will listen to individual songs, I'm listening to ICP like albums.
Yeah.
Like, and I still do that, but with other music. So I listen to a lot. Like, I definitely have listened to over 10,000 hours of music for sure. There's no doubt. Probably like 15 or 20. Like, I listen to a lot of music.
Now, swinging back to Jelly Beans, I was mentioning this last night, so I'm going to ask you a question. This relates to Jelly Beans, so I'm going to ask you a question. What is your favorite version of me? Is it like Happy Will? Is it like Pissed Off Will? Is it Angry Will? Like, what's your favorite version of me?
I don't really like you when you're angry. What kind of question is that?
Well, because like, there's been.
What do you mean your favorite version of you?
The reason I asked that is because like, there's been situations where like I've gotten angry or mad, and you're around, and like your reaction is always just like, I'm just gonna watch and see what happens. Like, for instance, I was talking like remember those fucking two twins that used to come to Jelly Beans all the time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we called them the Double Mint Twins. Yeah. So, like, there was that time where, like, they were fucking blatantly cheating at air hockey, and I just started fucking losing it. Like, I was just fucking mad, and you're just, like, giggling your fucking ass off to the side.
So you're asking, like, do I enjoy seeing you mad?
Exactly.
Okay. No. I mean, that was when, again, I was, like, 13. Right?
Well, like,
so, like,
I know, but even to this day.
Let me fix it. Let me just say it.
Go ahead.
So over the years, just when you're funny, man, like when you're just like going ham, I don't know, with confidence, like when you're just ripping on stuff, you're funny.
Or like when I was telling this story last night about when we were at one of the school dances, and like Nikki's boyfriend came to me out of nowhere and was just like, you know what? I'm about sick of you. And you saw my face just like turn real quick, and you're just like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And it wasn't like, let me step between them and say like, Will, calm down, or like, Jacob, calm down. It was just like, oh shit, let me watch and see what happens.
Well, it's not like I would have been able to stop it. So.
You could have stopped him. Maybe not me, but
I wasn't worried about him. I mean, I wasn't worried about you.
You were worried about me.
I wasn't worried about him. I knew that he was. I knew that you were willing to do it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like that you were willing to like. There's a line with William because you'll fight people.
Yeah.
like it ain't just like, you know, you'll do it. You'll do it. You'll throw down.
Yeah.
Even if you're outmatched, if you got to do it, you'll do it, which is a good thing to have because then people, there's a line they don't.
That's funny.
If they know that, there's a line they won't cross.
That's funny that you mentioned that we're outmatched, because that actually leads me to another story. Hey, Justice, is it too cold?
Okay.
So, let's talk about that. This story is actually in my book, so if you actually have a copy of, the stories no one asked for, you may have read this story, but we will go into it here. So, Justice calls me one night and says, hey, I'm going to meet this girl at a skating rink. They're having a cheerleading competition. I want you to meet her sister.
That makes me sound way cooler than I was.
Yeah, exactly.
Go
Makes
ahead.
me sound cooler too, because they're like, hey, we're going to introduce you to her sister and shit. Like, oh, fucking A, you know? So, we go to, like, Henderson, North Carolina. Now, if anybody knows anything about North Carolina, Henderson, not a good town to be in.
It's still rough.
It's still rough. Yeah, it's still bad. So, you know what? Tell your side of the story. You know, I'm talking too much here. So tell your side, and then I'll fill in the blanks.
Okay, so basically what you're getting to is the little thing with the cheerleading competition is over, right? They all go home.
Okay, so you're going to skip that part. Okay, I'll go back to that. Go ahead.
So that part doesn't even, anyway, we walked down to the movie theater because my parents at the time were at the movie theater. We were obviously riding with them. We were like, I don't know, 9th grade up. And the theater is locked and we can't get in there. We just got to wait outside. And there's just like 10 to 20 dudes all wearing the same colors, like all white t-shirts. They're clearly a gang.
It was like 14 black guys. Let's call a spade a spade.
You didn't have to describe
all
the details. Yeah. But look, the point is there's 14 guys. They all are wearing matching clothes.
Yeah.
And they look like they're looking for trouble, right? Like you can tell when people are doing that. Mm-hmm. So no matter what their ethnicity is, you see 14 dudes, and it's 11 at night, and they're all wearing the same clothes.
And three of them walk over to you.
Yeah, 3 of them walk over, and then all I remember is them saying, "What's up?" N-word, "What's up?" You know, stuff like that. And then we're just like, I don't know, nothing. I don't remember what I said.
Yeah.
And then I just remember somebody saying it's too cold for that, and all of a sudden somebody knocked me in the jaw, and they all started running away, which is strange because it's like
14 against 2.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to get in trouble is what it came down to.
Well, I mean, like still, if it's 14 against 2, you figure they'd just beat the shit out of both of us and then take off. You know?
They just ran.
Yeah, they socked you one time. So, okay, so let's fill in some blanks that you left out here. Let's go back to the skating rink. Justice was meeting what would eventually become his first, like, actual, like, girlfriend. Because, like, back in middle school and shit, we had, like, quote-unquote girlfriends, but, like, we'd probably stay together for, like, what, 2 weeks at a time or something?
I guess so.
Shit like that. So, like, this would become, like, his first, like, long-term girlfriend and everything. So, I don't know how it happened, but, like, at one point, the girl that he was meeting there, in fact, she knows that, like, I do this podcast. In fact, she made the logo for the podcast here. But April was her name. And, I don't know how, but, like, April ended up sitting next to me while we're at the cafe and shit. And Justice is sitting across from me. So, you know, we're sitting there just chilling, you know, just waiting for April's sister to get done with the competition. I feel something on my foot. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And, you know, I didn't think anything about it. You know, a few more minutes go by, I feel it again. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm thinking it's like the pole underneath the table or something. I look down, there's Justice's foot rubbing against mine and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck has he done? So, like, I call him out right there. I'm like, are you playing fucking footsie with me? He was trying to play footsie with April. You know? And he fucked up.
That is funny.
Oh my god. So that was one thing you fucking just skipped over. The other thing was we before we went to the movie theater, there was a Blockbuster Video there. And we walked over to the Blockbuster Video and we were just kind of looking around, just, killing time and shit. And you found this fucking South Park tape that you wanted because you were just getting really into South Park. And you're like $7. I'm buying this, So we go up to the counter and the guy was like, "Oh, you need to be 18 to buy this. Are either of you?"
I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are either of you 18? And you're like, "No." So then the guy looks at me and I feign like looking for like a fucking wallet, like, oh shit, I was like, I am. And he's like, "Do you have your ID?" And I was like, "Oh crap, I don't have it on me." And then you look at me, you look right at me in front of this guy, and you're just like, "You don't have an ID?" I was like, "You're an idiot." Like, I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to do you a solid, trying to get you this tape that you want after the whole footsie incident here. And you fucked me like that.
That's funny.
Oh, so man. then we hit the movie theater, and then that's when shit went down. So the three guys run up and they're like, "Oh, what's up, N-word? Why you in our town? Why you in our town, N-word?" And I'll never forget how Justice said it, because I was saying last night how you're also you're kind of non-confrontational when you want to be. If it came down to it, you will fight, but you do try everything to be non-confrontational. So
I agree with that.
When they're like, "Hey, what's up, N-word? Why are you in our town?" You were just like, "Hey, how you doing?" Trying to be as non-confrontational as possible. And I'm standing there like, okay, I don't know what's gonna happen here. And then he wound up his fist to hit you right then and there, and then he stopped. And then that's when he hit you with the infamous line of "Nah, it's too cold for that." And we're like, okay, and then bam, that's when he just out of nowhere just fucking socked you. And then in my brain it was
I had braces, so it hurt.
Yeah, in my brain it was like a freeze frame of just well, this is when we get the shit beat out of us because there's 14 of them and 2 of us, but no, they all took off running and shit. And I'm just and I remember taking a step forward, I was really going to do something. And one of the guys was just "Don't do it." So after they fucking took off, I was like, "Dude, we need to call the cops." And you're just like, "No," because you're half crying, You're like, "No, don't call the cops, man." And I was like, "Dude, man, what if they come back for seconds?" So we go to this payphone, call the cops, let them know what happened, and one of them shows up, and I'll admit this is where I bitch out in the story, because the cop looks at Justice and says, "Hey, do you mind getting in the car and we drive around to see if we can see him?" And Justice says, "Yeah, that's fine." So Justice gets in the front seat or back seat, I don't remember which one. And he looks at me and he's like, "Are you okay staying here by yourself?" And I'll admit, I bitched out because 14 guys were just here. 3 of them, surrounded Justice. One of them punched him for no fucking reason. And he's like, "You mind staying here by yourself?" I'm like, "Why? So they can come back and get my ass too?" No, thank you. No, I'm not okay being here by myself. So they send the fucking squad car for me to sit in and shit. And then I see Justice's mom and dad come out of the theater. And I'm just like, "Oh, fuck, here we go." Justice is not back yet with the cops. So I'm just like, "Oh, shit." So I gently get out of the car because this is before fucking George Floyd, but I don't want to get out of the car. And he's like, "What the fuck? Bang, bang, bang," So I gently get out of the cop car. I get out of the cop car and your mom and dad see me getting out of a cop car. So no telling what's going through their mind at that moment. So they look at me like they look over and they have that like, what the fuck happened look. Not like, why the fuck is Will getting out of a cop car, but it was more like, what the fuck happened? And I look at him, I was like, this isn't what you think it is. That cop turned around and fucking yelled at me, get back in that car. Oh man, I could have fucking ran through that door to get back in because of the way he said that and shit. So then that's when you showed back up. They finally let me out. And they explained to your mom and dad what the fuck happened, and shit. So, but like, yeah, to this day, like, I can still say it's too cold for that. And sometimes Justice is just like, fuck you, man. Um, yeah, yeah, because I did a whole episode on it. And I think I tagged you in it. But like, do you have any interesting stories from when we did Grease?
From Greece?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you do.
Well, I did a whole episode on it, but like,
I feel like if I thought about it, I can't think of anything right now, though.
Wow, riveting.
I know, it's terrible. I mean, okay, like if I got to give you something, we'll go with this.
Okay.
But I can't talk about that stuff.
Do what?
I can't talk about what I was about to say.
I think I know what you're about to talk about.
Maybe. I mean, I do remember this isn't really like a funny story, but it is funny to me just because like it defines how like serious you are about wrestling.
Okay. I mentioned this.
Knew it too.
Wait a minute, I mentioned this story in there, but go ahead.
So like we basically like we're supposed to have a dress rehearsal on like a Thursday night. Why are you laughing?
Because I told this story, but like I want to hear it from your perspective.
So we have a dress rehearsal, meaning like we've got to have some serious practices before we do this live in front of people. And I mean, a play is kind of hard. You got to remember all these lines. There's a lot of moving pieces. We really needed this practice, right? And it's kind of like an emergency practice. It's all right, we got to do this Thursday night. And William's like, I can't be there. And like, everybody knows why William can't be there. Like, there's no secret. The teacher. No.
You and Brandon knew why I couldn't be there. I don't think everybody knew.
I think Miss Lawrence knew. She knew.
Yeah, she probably knew because I also had her for my creative writing class, so a lot of my essays were about wrestling, so she probably had an idea.
Everybody knew. William wasn't like, it felt like to me, from what I remember, everybody knew, yeah, William ain't gonna show up because SmackDown's tonight. So he's not coming. Like, literally, we had this play. You're in the play, okay? You're in the damn fucking thing, and you're like, I can't miss one episode of fucking SmackDown. Like SmackDown is every week, and it's been on every week since then. And you couldn't give up one. You couldn't give up one. Just because I don't even remember. I mean, like, because you were that into it. I mean, like, it was that important. It was like this theater stuff at school. It's whatever. But wrestling, no, that's life.
It was gospel at the time, man.
It was what?
It was gospel at the time.
I guess it had been. But I get it. That was kind of like you're working at this thing, and it's like.
Hold on. Your mic is not. There you go. Say it again. Say that again.
I mean, I get it because we're doing this school stuff all the time, and they want you to stay later. And
see, as I remember it, we were going to like another school to like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's how I remember it.
Performance for like the cafeteria.
Yep, that's it. Yeah. Now I will say I have two stories written down here that
I literally just said that we did a performance for the cafeteria ladies.
Yeah.
That's literally.
Now we've known each other, like I said, we've almost known each other like 25 fucking years, but I do have two stories written down here that fucking shows it's not always fucking rainbows and lollipops between us and shit. First one I want to mention is that we once went to a card show or like a toy show at the fairgrounds, and my dumbass like spent all my money already, and I found this fucking signed Hardy Boy card, and it was signed by both of them at the time. And I was like, dude, like, you have money left, like, dude, buy this card for me, and then I'll pay you back. And you're like, okay, that's fine, you know. So
I do not remember this at all.
you'll probably remember in a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
So you give me the money, I pay the guy for the card, and I'm like, fucking A and shit. And as we're walking around, like, all of a sudden, you're just like, okay, so you're going to pay me back double, right? And I was
No,
just,
I did not.
yes, you did.
I didn't. No way.
Wait. So I was just like, no, I'm not paying you double. You're like, yeah. Like, you're going to pay me back double for that. Because it was $20. I remember the card being $20, and you're like, and I was like, no, I'm not giving you $40 for this. And you're like, yeah, you are. So I remember taking the card back over to that stand and throwing it down and saying, you know what? Get your money back then. Fuck this. And I walked away, you know, and then you're telling the guy at a distance, like, I'm sorry. And you take the card back and you walk back over and give the card back to me. Like, fine, $20, man. Like, you don't remember any of that?
No, I feel like I had to have been kidding. There's no. Why would I say?
I don't know.
Double. That just. Was I like? Did I like learn about some scheme, like some money lending scheme? I'm like, I'm gonna try it on William.
Beats the shit out of me.
I don't. Jeez.
You know. And the other one that, you know, comes to mind, of course, is I came to visit from Texas, and I ended up hitchhiking back to your house.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So what was I don't think I've ever heard
That's now this one can get. I don't know if we should. That can get really touchy. So I will say at this point now, I'd say I'm sorry, I was wrong.
Okay, but again, I want to hear.
Well, go ahead.
I don't think I've.
The story.
Yeah, but still, I don't think I've ever heard your side of it. I've always told you my side and shit like that.
Okay.
So like, I've never heard your side of this.
Long story short.
Wow, great. You know, long story short, no, fucking go into detail. The detail that you know.
I mean, I won't. Okay. I mean, it's not that long anyway, so at least I won't tell it that long.
And I'll do it just like the Too Cold Fred. You tell what you know, and then I'll come back and fill in the blanks.
Sounds good. So basically, at the time, I'm hanging out with people from high school a lot, and I'm into like drinking and stuff. So it's like my junior or senior year, and basically, I was like, why don't we just spend the night? Because I didn't want to drive, and I don't remember if it was like I'd already been drinking. I don't think I had, actually. I don't think I had been. But I was kind of like, why don't you want to do this? And when you didn't want to do it because you didn't drink, right? No. Like, so, like, now, like, in my mind then, I'm just like, you know, why would you not want to do this? Like, I just was like, I don't understand. Why don't you want to just hang out and, like, just whatever? I mean, I understand now, but I didn't then. So, like, I don't remember how we ended up, like, in Raleigh and, like, where you're mad and you're, like, getting into, like, front of traffic. I don't remember. Was it, like, the north part of Capitol Boulevard, or was it in Wake Forest?
It was, like, where the Sheets is now. On US 1.
Okay, because then it was close to his house.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense, because we probably just walked to Sheets or something.
No, y'all took the car because, okay, see, now it's time for me to fill in the blank. So we went to dude's house. I forgot his name. And he was an okay guy. I mean, it was really nothing against him. It's just that, like, you know, fun fact about me, if you're going to drink underage and shit around me, like, if I know somebody who's 20 and they want to start drinking underage and shit like that, more than likely, I'm going to remove myself from that situation.
And now that we're older, you just sound like such a better person.
You know, and that was the case at the time. Like, at the time, I was, you know, not 21, but, you know, but, like, I didn't want to be associated with people who were going to drink underage. And that family we were hanging out with, they were, like, fucking encouraging it. You know? And, like, and Justice is just like...
It was weird.
Yeah, and Justice is just like, hey, we're going to...
It's a weird thing. Now that I think of it, that is a strange... I don't even want to go into it because they could hear this, man.
Yeah,
Like,
you know, but
I will say this.
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, man. I mean, like, I could see how you'd be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Like,
so
totally.
Justice was just like, "Hey, we're gonna stay tonight here," and I was catching my flight back to Texas the next day, and plus I had a cold on top of all that. So I was like, "Dude, I really don't want to stay tonight here, man. Like, if you want to stay tonight, that's cool, man. Just drop me off at your house, and you can come back and stay here. That's cool, man. I really don't want to be here, man." You know, and the kid heard me. So I made it a point to be like, dude, it's nothing against you, man. I got, you know, I don't want you to think it's fucking you. But like, dude, I got a cold. I got to catch my flight tomorrow and shit, you know. And Justice was very adamant about like, fucking no. Like, you're staying here or nothing, you know. And I'm just like, dude, why are you being like such a fucking?
Your buzzkill will. Your buzzkill will.
Yeah, you know. So now, for some reason, for this trip, I didn't pack enough socks. So like I was out of socks, so Justice loaned me a pair of flip flops. Just keep that in mind. So I'm fucking furious that Justice won't take me back to his house and shit. So on the front porch of this guy's house, he had like a rocking chair. So like I'm sitting outside in the rocking chair and shit, and like here comes Justice and the fucking gang, and they're about to drive somewhere. Justice had a Mustang at the time and shit, and I look at Justice right in the eye, and I was like, if you guys leave, I'm gonna walk to your house. And Justice he wasn't gonna call my bluff. He was just like, no, you're not. You don't even know how to get to my house from here. I was just like, do you think I'm retarded? Like, you don't think I know my way around this town? Newsflash, I used to live here, fucker. You know? So he was like, well, we're about to go somewhere. I don't even know where they were going. Probably to get more fucking booze, you know? Which I don't know how. None of y'all were of age. So I took the fucking flip flops, and I was like, well, fucking here, you fucking take your fucking flip flops and shit, and threw them in the car and shit. So they fucking pieced on out of there, and I was like, well, fuck this, I'm walking to his house then. His house was like what? Oh God, how many miles would you say it was from there?
4, 5.
Yeah, it was quite a walk. So now I'm walking barefoot on a gravel road, and I'm just like, fuck, man, this was a horrible idea. You know? So I was just like, you know what? It's Youngsville. It's Youngsville, North Carolina. Not a lot of crime happens here. I'm pretty sure if I flag down a car, they'll take me to fucking his house and shit. So I flag down a car. I go to the window. It drives off. I'm like, all right, cool. Flag down a car. I go to the window. Window rolls down. Fucking Justice. And Justice like, just get in the car and come back, man. You know? And again, I explained them the same thing I explained. I was like, dude, I don't feel good. I just want to fucking get to your house and shit. And again, Justin was just like, fucking no. You know? If you get in this car, we're going to his house and we're staying the night and shit. And I was just like, again, I made it a point to look at...
Man.
I made it a point to look at that kid and be like, dude, it's nothing against you. Which, I mean, technically it wasn't. It was mainly, you know, the practices that were going on.
Right, right.
So,
I mean, like, I'm trying to think, it's like, God. I mean, I'm obviously, like, not the same as I was when I was, like, 16 or 17, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I guess in my mind at the time.
Now, to understand this.
Like hanging out there and doing that stuff was, like, life. You know, it was, like, everything. So I guess this was my mentality then. Yeah. I don't know, man. I can't really.
So to understand this next part, I got to give y'all some backstory. So something that me and Justice used to do, like hey Justice, let's go to Burger King. And Justice was like, I don't want Burger King. Let's go to McDonald's. This is just for example. I'm like, come on, man. I don't want McDonald's. He'd be like, no, I want McDonald's. So my response would usually be, okay, fine. It's the Amazing Fucking Justice Show. You do whatever the fuck you want. And then we'd go to McDonald's. That was usually our response. Or vice versa. So, after, you know, I see the car, I tell him, like, hey, I'm not staying the night there. Fuck it, I'll just walk to your house. So, apparently Justice is now fucking livid. Because I just walk away from the car. So, the next thing I fucking hear from a distance is like, oh yeah, it's the Amazing Fucking Williams Show, huh? Fuck you forever. And then I hear the fucking car peel out and disappear into the night. you know? So I was just like, okay. So
Who let me have a Mustang? That was a stupid decision.
That
Oh
was
my
your dream
God.
car at the time.
Yeah, I know, but I was a teenager. I was an idiot. Listen to how you're describing me. I mean, like, I was obviously pretty stupid.
Listen
Like,
to how
I mean, you're
So-
not really painting me as like, you know, a model citizen here. Like, I don't think I should have been allowed to have a car, or not like to just do whatever. I can't believe that. I'll never. Like, I just can't believe my parents just kind of. I guess they just thought, like, well, they're going over to the friend's house. Like, I don't know what they thought.
Yeah. So I keep walking. I'm trying to flag down cars. One car's like, all right, I got a car coming behind me that will pick you up. That car never showed up. I'm running across fucking Highway 1 at 2 o'clock in the morning barefoot. Which, I mean, you know, to people listening to this, that, you know, that's a visual that they don't get. Justice has seen Highway 1, so that's probably a visual that's just like, what the fuck? You know? So then I get, like, to the subway in Youngsville. And again, Justice gets that visual. I know none of y'all don't. That's when I finally flagged down a truck. And the guy was just like, oh, yeah, hop in. You know? So I was like, oh, my God, thank you. And he was like, so what's going on tonight? And I kind of gave him, like, a breakdown of what's happened that evening. And he was like, man, that sucks. And he just picked up McDonald's. This is when McDonald's was still open, like, 24 hours and shit. So he's eating, like, fries and everything. And he's like, you want some fries? I was like, no, thanks. I'm good. So he was just like, okay.
I remember that detail, man.
See, exactly. I was telling people last night how you're amazed with my attention to detail. So he's like, okay, so where are we heading? I was like, just go straight down this road. So we're driving. We get to your neighborhood and shit. And he's like, which house is it? I was like, the house here on the left. So as we're driving by your house, he says, hey, man, just remember, you got to be careful about people. And then as he says that, he drives past your house. I was like, fuck, there it is. I fucked up. You know?
That's crazy.
Yep. I was like, oh, this is how it ends and shit. So, like, now I have my hand on the door handle just in case I got to fucking, you know, tuck and roll and shit. You know? He's like, yeah, you can't really trust a lot of people out here. I was like, yep, here it is, man. You know, it was a good run. You know? He was turning around by, like, fucking Dallas's house and shit like that to fucking come back and let me out on the other side. You know? So he was like, can you get in this late? And that's when you were, like, leaving your window open so we could get in and out and shit. So I was like, yeah, I can get in. He was like, okay, man. So, you know, bye. So I sneak in through the fucking window and I, like, sleep next to the bed just in case your dad came in the morning, which he did. But, like, I remember getting on AOL Instant Messenger before going to bed, and I can't remember. I think it was Randy who was on AIM at the time, and he was just like, Will? And I was like, yeah. He's like, are you back at Justice's house? I was like, yeah. And he was like, did you walk all the way there? Now, I could have said, like, no, I caught a ride with somebody. But I was like, you know what, just to fuck with them some more, I was like, yeah, I did walk all the way here. You know? So, here's the PS to this story, though. So, the next day, Justice comes back to his house. He has to, like, get ready for football practice and shit. Justice wanted nothing to do with my fucking ass. You know? This model citizen, you know? So, his mom...
You just make me sound like a total douche. I'm just somewhere drinking or nothing, man. I gotta go to football practice.
So his mom wakes him up and was just like, hey, Will's leaving. Do you want to say anything? And Justice just does, bye.
Oh, man.
So fucking, I was like, all right, bye. You know, I guess fucking whatever. 6 fucking months later. 6 months later, I'm sitting on AOL Instant Messenger. Justice pops up in the fucking inbox. I don't even remember what the fuck he said. It was something like, did you hear about this? It wasn't like, hey, what's up? You know, what's new? No, it was just like we fucking left off on a conversation I forgot we were having. You know, you're like, hey, did you hear about this? And I was just like, fuck off. And you're just like, what? You know, I was just like, don't what me? Mr. fucking, like, I forgot what I said, but I was just like, fucking, you Fucking made me walk home and shit, like fucking, and you were just like, I'm sorry. That's when you fucking apologize for like 6 months later.
All right, so here's a little extra context though, and I forgot about this. I can see though why I was callous towards you about that stuff, like mean towards you about it, because you were the reason, and you're the reason I got in trouble the first time I ever did go drinking. Because you told my freaking mom. You told my mom.
I did?
Like, you told on me. You told on me. Yeah. Like, you told on me.
When?
Imagine that. Everybody who's listening, your best friend tells your mother, he was drinking. You did. Because she somehow, like, because what it was is I went and hung out with, like, Brandon and his friends in, like, Centerville, some really shady really shady place. And I'm sure Brandon would agree with me at this day that it was, not exactly. Anyway, point is, it was like the first time I was drinking, and I don't know if Instant Messenger was up or something, but you told her. Because you were mad at me about something, so you told on me. That had to have been like maybe a year before.
Well, it could have been a year before because, like, fucking, I was living in Texas, so I wouldn't know about it.
But we talked, so you did tell on me. You told on me. You did.
I'm not denying it. I'm just saying I don't remember that.
You told on me, so I think that's why I was so mad at you about the drinking thing, because it was like, I shouldn't have been doing it, but at the same time, in a 16-year-old, 17-year-old's mind, your friend is telling on you to your mom. I mean, man, yeah, dudes are they're gonna get, mad at each other over stuff like that. So, yeah, you told on me. But see, it was something like I left like my messenger up or something, and she found out because she was like, "You've been drinking," or something. That's what my mom said, and she's like, you told me you don't like beer, and I said I don't. She's like, you've been drinking whiskey. That's what she said. Whiskey.
I don't fucking remember. Are you sure it was me? Because I don't remember any of this.
We gotta call my mother. Get my mother on the podcast. And yes, you told
Fuck it, call her right now. Three-wayer.
No.
We'll kick it old school. No. We'll do a three-way call. Oh, we can't with your fucking flip phone.
I think you can with the flip phone.
Oh, can you?
I think you can. So anyway, yeah, you told on me. So like that's why, but like at the same time, I can see why you would have felt just the whole thing was weird. I mean, I get it.
See, it's one thing. It was one. The whole thing.
Now I don't see. I didn't see it because I thought, drinking is okay. Look, these adults do it. You know what I mean? And like, even though my parents didn't, right? Like, and my parents would never, right? Like, my mother would never be like, yeah, y'all come and get shit faced in the back. Like,
yeah, see, I was just about to say, like, it's one thing to drink underage, but the fact that dude's parents were just like, oh yeah, look at this new shit we got here. Look at this. I'm just like, huh?
I can see how that would have thrown you off.
Yeah, that fucked me up, man. And I don't know. Like, for some reason, it's weird because, like, smoking underage fucking doesn't bother me. Like, fucking, if you want me to buy you a pack of cigarettes, fine. Here, smoke up, Johnny. I don't give a fuck. But the alcohol thing bothers me for some reason.
I mean, smoking's pretty bad for you.
Yeah, I know, but, like, for some reason, it doesn't bother me. Some underage kid comes to me, hey, can you buy me a pack of smokes? Yeah, fuck, here you go. Smoke up, Johnny.
Well, yeah, you probably should not do that.
But, like, alcohol, like, when I used to work at the grocery store, people would come to me like, hey, Will, can you buy me a bottle of alcohol? I'm like, no, I'm not supplying for a minor. What the fuck is wrong with you? So another thing I want to mention is that, like, I mentioned it in the video store episode last week, and that is, like, you are actually the fucking catalyst to, like, me getting hardcore into DVD, because one night we literally spent like goddamn 3.5 hours just watching the Wizard of Oz DVD, and not once did we ever watch the fucking movie.
Oh, like the specials, or the
Yeah,
special features.
that's all we did was just watch special features and just make fun of our friends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, particularly one friend that we had.
Don't say the name.
Don't say the name. Okay, all right. I had his name written down, but we could probably tell the stories without his name. But this one friend, we'll call him John. But we had this one friend John who was, we'll say different. You know, he was a different cat, and um, eccentric, I guess would be another word.
That's a good word, eccentric.
Yeah, there you go. He was eccentric, and you know, like like we used to, like, oh god, at the time, WWF No Mercy, Nintendo 64, that was fucking god. You know, that was my god at the time, and like it was a fucking video game. You know, and like, yes, I would make characters based off people I knew, but John here would would treat this shit like he was actually in the WWF getting a push. Like, he would ask me every day, like, did he win the Royal Rumble? Like, it was fucking wild. You know?
Yeah, but you and John are more alike than you want to.
No, fuck, the fuck we are.
Well, a little bit. I mean,
no.
You're making the fantasy wrestling. He's just more into it than you are. I don't know. It's not that different.
Oh, okay, maybe in that aspect, but like some of the other aspects, like, I mean, there are not nude pictures in my room with holes in them.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
I do not think different races have teeth in their vaginas.
That one is for, that by itself, I don't think you can tell that story for free. That's too good. That one's money. Like, because it's controversial. So if you say it for free, you could just get in trouble. You got to make money off that one. It's crazy that he actually said that.
Yeah, that's
I can tell
true.
that story. I can tell it without telling it.
You can tell it without telling it? Oh God, please do.
I can tell it. So basically, so you're not in this class. You just have heard the story. It's in, and we're gonna keep it PG. So basically, teenage boys, you know, are talking about what a lot of them do talk about, whether they should or not.
Ladies' parts.
Yes. So basically, there's this one lady that comes up in the conversation, and now I just think it's stupid that boys talk like that. Like, your father should tell you that you don't kiss and tell, but that's a whole separate thing. Point is, though, we were doing that, right? And John is from the South. John is, John's a white dude from the South, kind of rural, and none of those things are bad.
Yeah.
But he was definitely raised to, like, we don't mix with other kinds. Well, this girl was another kind, okay? And it was not a problem to anybody else except John. And John says, well, you know about black girls, don't you? And we're like, no, what are you talking about? He's like, they got teeth. They have teeth in there. And I'm not going to say the word, but you can figure it out.
They have teeth.
Okay.
They have teeth in their hoo-ha.
Yeah, that's fine. Hoo-ha. And he actually believed that. So, like, he believed, like, I don't want to get...
he didn't... I mean, I wasn't there, but, you know, from the stories I've heard, he didn't
say... really believed that was true.
He didn't say it in a way of just like, hey, let me say this to troll people. Let me say this in, like, a joking way.
No, he believed it.
He believed it. And
they thought it was real.
Yeah. You know, like...
I think it's because he had a girlfriend who was black, and his mom tried to scare him by telling him, don't you date them black girls, they got teeth in their thing down there. Like, I really think that that's actually what happened. Definitely somebody told him that they did. And, you know, when people say racism is taught, it is. Like, literally, like, people are worried, or I guess in his family are worried that he's going to elope with a different kind, so they tell him a fake story that they got teeth down there, and he believed it. And he was almost 18. Who's listening to this, man? It's people from
You'd be amazed. Like people love this. Like compared to the Three-Way Dance Wrestling podcast, people fucking love the Stories No One Asked For podcast. They love
I'm
hearing
saying
this type of
if
shit.
it's people who like know who John is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I don't want to get like in trouble. I don't want
You're
like,
not gonna get in trouble. Like the stories that you can't talk about. I'm like, who the fuck is gonna hear it? But I understand why you don't want to talk about them.
Well, I mean, I'm a, you know, my
No,
day
yeah,
job
I
kind of
understand.
thing.
I understand.
Well,
Like, there's only like 3 stories that I could probably think of that like, you know, there. I won't go into detail, but obviously the Gentlemen's Club.
Oh Lord, I don't even know what you're talking about. Edit that. Just don't even.
No, I'm just saying the ones that we can't say. There's a little story in Egypt that happened. And
definitely can't talk about any of that.
I know that's what I'm saying. And the other one, there was a time in high school where
no.
Yeah,
right
you already know which one I'm talking about. Yeah.
there was a time in high school. Stop.
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
There's a lot of time. I know enough to know stop right now. So like, there's enough of them.
Let's just say the one I was referring to involved the 3rd story window.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking
about.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. Those were the 3 that I was talking about. That like I'm pretty sure that you were just like, nope.
Nope. So.
And people who are listening, I asked him if he wanted to do like an uncensored one behind a paywall, but that was a no-go.
I'm a teacher. That's my job.
Yeah.
I'm like a completely different person. I have like 4 cats. I listen to jazz music. Okay, I'm not just some like alcohol drinking Mustang driving football player that you trying to make me out to be. Who also listens to Insane Clown Posse. I mean, you made me sound like a wild man. Like just a wild child. I was, I guess. But now it's like I'm not at all. But
one day we gotta set that up. We gotta somehow figure out a way to get that behind a paywall. Then we could get like the hardcore stuff, man. Because like those stories are fucking wild, man. You know, maybe not the 3rd story window one. That one's like from a high schooler's eyes, it's a somewhat innocent story. But like these days, people be like, "What the fuck?" You know.
I mean, it's not the worst thing.
Exactly.
I don't
yeah.
want to talk about it.
No, I get it. I get it. I'm just saying.
Nobody dies, you know, so it's just nothing is. But
because like now these days, people like to dig up like, "Oh my god, he looked at my ass 20 years ago, and I feel fucking, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? What's that word? Not emasculated. Violated.
No, that's not the word.
Violated. He looked at my ass 20 years ago, and I feel violated. Well, fucking take him to jail. You know, like that's that's how people are these days.
Extreme. You know, it's not that extreme, but I mean, it is a thing.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. That's how people do it these days, though. He looked at my ass 20 years ago, and it made me feel bad. So, like, I'm going to take him to court. Like, all right.
Well, look, if they do, I don't want to go. That's saying I would do it. Anyway, yeah.
So I think that's everything that I had written down. We talked about John, Too Cold. Oh, no, you know what? Going back to John. Did you ever stay the night at his house?
I don't want to talk about that. Like, I feel like this nobody can understand. Did I ever spend the night at John's house when I was like 12? Yeah.
What was your experience staying the night there?
24 years ago. I was a child. Literally, your brain hasn't formed till you're 25. Did you know that? It's true. Your brain hasn't formed till you're 25. So I was not even halfway there. I was like 12. Maybe I was halfway. I was 12 and a half. 13. Maybe just a little above half. Anyway,
because I had a totally different experience than probably you did.
I feel like I know. Let's not talk about that stuff. It's just not good.
Oh,
it's not even funny. It's just weird.
Oh yeah, I guess you could say weird, but sometimes
I mean it's just the strange thing to talk about.
Yeah.
But let me think of something, and then we can wrap it up or whatever. But I feel like what is a story? That's
I
not
know
just like a
that's
one
what somebody
shot.
said
Like,
yesterday. One of the guys who listens, Elijah, he says you have to give us at least one R-rated story.
there's somebody. Wait, right now they said it.
No, they said it last night. Because I was
I
going
mean,
through like, oh, we can't talk about this and that. He was like, come on, he has to give us at least one R-rated story.
$1,000. I'll say anything you want.
Wow, that's funny because that's my price tag too.
No, actually, some of those stories I might actually lose my job. I don't know. That might not be worth it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of little stuff, but not like super crazy controversial. I mean, maybe. I'm thinking of jelly beans. Just, oh yeah, we're gonna put on tons of cologne to chase the ladies.
Oh, okay, we can talk about that and then we'll wrap it up. All right, here's a story for you.
Roller skate barely.
Here's a story for you.
But you couldn't skate.
Fuck
right?
no, I couldn't. So here, then we can close it up with this.
I remember you chasing. I remember this as a prank. We were just stupid little kids. As a prank.
Oh, I know what you're doing. Okay.
We had them say over the loudspeaker, "Happy birthday to William!" And like,
No, happy 9th birthday to William. No, so
that is a little funny.
here's the story. Here's the story that I believe is actually in the fucking book. So we show up to fucking Jelly Beans one night, and of course it's me, Justice. You know, the same girls that wouldn't fuck us in high school. But there's somebody.
I'm using the F word. I don't condone any of this. I never had this conversation. It's not real. It's fake news. Go ahead.
So there's somebody new there tonight. There's somebody I think we just met. Her name, we won't use the full name, obviously, but her name was Melody. Do you know where I'm going with this?
No.
No? Oh, okay. So her name was Melody. So we're fucking getting to know her and shit. I forgot who introduced us, but we're getting to know her and shit. And like, you know, she was attractive, you know? So Justice is kind of like fucking talking to her when nobody's around. I'm kind of talking to her when nobody's around and shit. At the end of the night, there's always a fucking couple skate. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking I can skate well on carpet, but like, if you want me to get on the floor and start fucking speeding around like a speed demon and shit, I can't do that. Now, if you want me to go at a slow pace, like for a couple skate, I can pull that off. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get Melody out for a fucking couple skate and shit, you know. So I asked her, and she was like, "Yeah, sounds good." I was like, "Oh, fucking hey, man, all right, man, this fucking, you know, brute cologne is doing its fucking work tonight, you know." Unbeknownst to me, when I don't know, maybe I was playing Arctic Thunder or some shit in the arcade, Justice also asked her to a couple skate. So the time comes, the music goes low and shit. They turn on the disco ball and everything. There's Justice holding fucking Melody's hand, about to go into the rink, and I'm just standing there like, what the fuck? You know, like, what the hell? You know? But Melanie was prepared. She was just like, oh, Will, come on. She has two hands. Like, fuck yeah, right? So I go to grab the other hand, and Justice's face went from elated to like, I said, hey, dude, can I drop my nuts in your mouth and go off on you like a fucking circus seal? And, you know, because like the thought of like me and him couple skating with Melanie was just like fucking like, no. You know? And I was just like, okay, fine, fuck this. You two fucking couple skate then. I'm just gonna go turn in my fucking skates. You know? Something tells me you remember now.
Yeah, I do. But I don't remember it as you asked her first. You got to think from my perspective, it was like...
It was some order like that. Either you asked her first and I wasn't around, or vice versa. But like, I know she said yes to us both. Then when it came time, like you were standing there with her, I'm like, what the fuck? And then she held out her other hand, like, yeah, come on, Will. I was like, oh, okay. And then you're like, whoa, we're not doing this.
Well, I mean, it is kind of lame. I mean, like, come on. Like, I did not know that you had asked or anything. So from my perspective, I'm about to go couple skate with her, and here comes bring William with us. Like, what? No! Like,
one of the rare times I had fucking confidence in my life to fucking be like, hey, Melanie, you want a couple skate later? Yeah, sure. And then like, there you are, like, hey, no, fat boy, get out of here.
I didn't know, but you don't think it wouldn't bothered you with me being out there too?
No, I was going one night.
I guess.
Maybe it would have been weird. Maybe it would have been.
Get a visual of that, man. Like,
maybe it would have been weird, but I didn't treat it like I said, "Hey, Justice, can I drop my nuts in your mouth?" Like you did.
But I mean, what
like you turned it into a scene.
Flip it around. Imagine if you're like.
But you turned it into a scene, though. You were just like, whoa, no.
I don't remember all that. I don't remember.
You're like, I'm not doing it with three of us.
No way.
Get fucking chubby ass out of here. Yeah.
Okay, so, oh man. So here's the thing. So imagine though if you flipped it around, right? Let's say the scenario is you like you said, you
my response. Okay, flip it around. My response would have been like, "What's this?" Oh, I asked him too. Okay, but I wouldn't have made a scene like you did.
Because I mean.
I wouldn't have been like, whoa! Get tubby tits out of here!
I didn't say that. Come on.
You might as well have with the scene you made.
You'll never forget. Jeez, man.
Have you learned from any of the stories I've told tonight that fucking night I will never forget anything?
No, you won't.
Except for the fucking apparently telling your mom that like you were drinking.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. And I was like,
that and apparently cock blocking you from fucking what's her name? You know who.
That's not from what? That doesn't even. Yeah, well, I mean, who knows? I don't even know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. You just don't want to say it.
Huh?
I said, you know what I'm talking about. You just don't want to say it.
No, I don't. Mm-hmm. I actually don't. So anyway, about a year ago, I was chopping that tree. No.
You say about a year ago I was chopping a tree?
Yeah, like the Tin Man when he was frozen. And they were like, what's going on? He's like, well, about a year ago, I was chopping that tree over there. And then, yeah.
Which, okay, yeah, after all the shit that you guys have heard tonight, if I told y'all that Justice's favorite movie of all time is The Wizard of Oz, would y'all fucking believe me?
It definitely is my favorite movie.
Which, that's one thing I got tired of in my life, that every time fucking we watch Wizard of Oz or see something Wizard of Oz related, if this motherfucker told me one more time that Buddy Epson was supposed to be the Tin Man, I would have fucking stabbed him.
Do you know Buddy Epson was supposed to be the Tin Man? He was on the Beverly Hillbillies. Yeah.
Every fucking time. Oh, but he couldn't play it because the makeup made him sick. And I'm like, I'll fucking stab you if you fucking tell me that piece of info one more time.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Oh my god. But all right, I think we got it. So that's gonna do it.
Who is the hardcore champion? We never really.
God.
Who is the champion?
God, who was the last champion?
Who was the last champion?
I think it was me because I had the belt.
Oh, of course it was you. Of course that's what you remember. Of course that's how your memory serves you now. It was me. You were so nuts about that thing. You did walk 3 miles. Like we were talking on the phone or something.
No, I walked 3 miles because you called me a faggot.
Oh God! Come on, you can't even say that nowadays.
Well, I'm just saying that's what you called me.
Oh man!
You called me a faggot over the phone. And I was like, what? And I hung up and I was like, I'm on my way.
And then you speared me into a vacuum cleaner. Like legitimately, like speared me into a vacuum cleaner. You know, the thing with the wrestling stuff is you and I could kind of like do the stuff. Well, I remember one time you getting hurt, right?
No.
Didn't you get? No, with the crossface you didn't.
Oh, with the crossface, yeah. Because you thought the shit was real.
Human to emulate, huh?
Yeah, because you thought it was real. You're just like, let's break William's nose and neck.
I didn't think like it wasn't real. I just.
We all got hurt at one time or another. Remember, I almost killed Dallas with that splash one time.
I remember. You weren't there. This was like in class, like why we were doing WWF stuff at the time in class. I did like a version of the pedigree to somebody and like busted their nose open. I didn't mean to, but like it did happen.
I think the only one of us that would actually come and wrestle with us that didn't get hurt at one time or another was Jessica.
Oh my God, man. I don't remember.
She was the only one I remember like that didn't at one time or another be like, fuck, you know. At one time or another, I think we all got hurt doing something except for her.
Stupid 13, 14-year-olds. 12, whatever. It's all the same.
Really? I thought I never got hurt doing anything until you made me remember the crossface.
I remember that now.
And then I remember one time because we actually had that on camera when I got Dallas with the splash, and he was just like I took the wind out of him on that one. You was the vacuum cleaner.
I'm sure it hurt, man.
Yeah.
I mean, geez. I'm sorry that you didn't get to. I'm not sorry for that skating thing. You can screw. I'm not gonna do a 3-way. Come on. I'm not gonna ever do that. Like I'd never do that. You know, let's go skate together. I'd rather let you just go. Now I'll give you that. Now I would let you just go. So I'm a nicer person, and I'm not as insecure as I was when I was a.
I was the nicer person. I let you go. Yeah, you made a fucking scene.
Then you were the nicer person. I'm saying now I'm a nicer person and less insecure than when I was like 13. So like now I would let you go. I wouldn't be, you know. Obviously now I don't really like care about like a day, whatever, a skate, a couple skate. I guess that was like what we live for. Like we're gonna put on. That's really what it was about. We're gonna put on cologne. We're gonna go out, and I'm gonna the last skate. I'm a whole head little girl and go round and round in a circle. That's basically what you live for when you're like 14.
Yeah. Well, the way I phrased it in my book, it was like I said, it was just like, wow, those same girls in high school who didn't want us, we're gonna get them tonight, and yeah, that never worked. Come on, Justice, make that corn jersey do its magic. Let's go.
I remember. So was that thing with the skate thing the same night your birthday? A birthday?
No, that was a different. I think that was a different night. Because y'all gotta understand, at one point we were at fucking Jelly Beans like every fucking week. Like every week, it was just like a given that like we're going to Jelly Beans tonight, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It was like the sock hop.
Yeah,
like
I
in the
mean,
50s,
like
people went to like the soda fountain place. We went to the skating rink.
Yeah, we went like every freaking week. You know, it was just something we did.
They were making some money off them kids, man. Think about it.
What do you mean, them kids? Us.
I know, but I'm like, all the kids, like, everybody was giving $20.
Yeah.
Every Friday.
You know, like, oh my God. That's all. Like whenever
something though.
Whenever I come,
you got to be there at the all-night skate.
Yeah.
When you got to sleep there or whatever, which is.
Yeah, because I lied about my age. I technically shouldn't have been there, but I lied about my age.
Oh, you were too old?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, how old were you supposed to? What was it, like 14?
Yeah, something like that.
And you were 15?
No, I think you were supposed to be. Yeah, it was for like 15 and under, and I was 16.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, but mentally you were like 9. So.
Yeah, pretty much. So it all worked out. It all balances out in the end. Do you remember this? Like, it's a fucking short one. So, we had a, again, now you can go to any school and, like, throw a brick and hit, a member of the LGBTQ community. Okay?
Oh, let's not go. If we're going down anything, I don't even know what you're talking about.
No, it's nothing bad. But, like, back when me and Justice went to high school, it wasn't common. We knew like maybe 2 people who were part of that community, and we had one person that was part of that community, and we didn't really pal around with that person. We just knew them, and they knew us. That was about it. So one night, me and Justice show up at fucking Jelly Beans, and I think we're like by the arcade or some shit. The next thing we fucking hear, now music is playing, people are talking, we hear the other side of the fucking skating rink. We hear, oh my God, William, Justice. It's like our token gay guy. And he comes running across the fucking thing. We're like, what the fuck is going on? Like again, it's not like we had nothing against him. It's not like
What's wrong with that, William? Feeling awkward. He knew we were like, he was trying to like be, I don't know what's the word.
Like amped up?
Yeah, I mean, he was just trying to like be, he was trying to be silly and embarrass us and like was yelling our name.
I guess.
And like that's what he was doing.
Yeah, because like we didn't pal around with him or anything like that,
He was a funny dude. I mean, I don't know what he's like now, but he was a funny dude.
He was okay.
But he would dress up like Tupac some days. It was strange.
Yeah, he was really into rap music. He had a vendetta against Shania Twain. Like, I'm not making that up.
See, the thing is, William, that you never left the. And don't take this the wrong way. I feel like you're still like in that wavelength.
What do you mean?
like there's because I'm a teacher now. Like there's different, like almost like I don't want to say multiple dimensions within people and age groups, but kinda like as far as like like first graders, right? They talk to teachers, yes, but they have different ways that they communicate with each other, and we can't really pick up on it. You might, if you're quiet and you listen, you will. But they have just ways of communicating, just like middle schoolers do, and the older people don't pick up on certain social stuff, like what's cool, what's not cool, what's like I like this, I don't like this about you, or whatever. So there's like that mentality for like middle school. I feel like you're still like kind of, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I just feel like you're still like it's not that you haven't changed at all. You're still William from then. Like I really believe it.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like whatever perception I have of you in like middle or high school. That's the perception I still have of you.
In a way, no, because I mean, like you have a job now, so it's different. But like you're kind of the same. Like in a lot of ways, you're the same, and I feel like I'm very, very different. Well, I know I'm very different. I mean, listen how you describe me. Like, so I don't know. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense. But I think, but what's interesting to me is how much you remember. So like, I don't know. That's crazy that you remember some of that stuff.
Like last night when I was hyping you up and shit. Like I told him, I was just like, that's one thing that I'm pretty sure I can say about Justice, that he's amazed about details I can remember. Like I can be telling Justice a story, like, oh yeah, remember that one time in drama where like I can say like, oh, remember that one time in drama, and you'll be like, yeah, I can remember that day. But then like once I start dropping shit like, yeah, Angelica was wearing that orange shirt and you're wearing that fucking ICP shirt and Brandon had that necklace on, and that's when you're like,
remember like some random,
that's when you're like, what the fuck, man?
You remember some, and this is way off topic, but you know, you're a quarter Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Because you have is your grandmother's like 100%.
Yeah.
But you don't like New Japan wrestling. Not saying you should.
That's racist. That's racist that you think I should like New Japan wrestling just because I'm Japanese, but whatever.
It's not racist, but it's not racist. I'm not saying you should, but you're such a hardcore wrestling fan. It is kind of like, dang, you don't have any kind of like. I'm related to like people who are from over there who have done this amazing thing, and I'm really into this stuff. And you're like. It's okay. It's good sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine.
I was about to say, did you have a point to that story, or?
I don't really have one. Like, I forget that you're, not that it matters, but that you're, it's so funny because, like, with wrestling fans, and I'm sure a lot of people that listen to this are wrestling fans, right?
Some of them, yeah.
Some of them are. New Japan wrestling is, like, super over. Right? Like it is. Like it's a lot of it is super over. And it's like you're this ultimate like hardcore wrestling fan like them, and you're also like part Japanese. It's just I don't know, it's just funny to me. It's just kinda like I don't know if that makes sense.
Are you more amazed with that or more amazed that Cooper means fucking barrel maker?
I mean Cooper means, yeah, I mean, that's...
Like, when he found that out, people, like, he was fucking dumbfounded by that.
Barrel maker.
You know?
Why don't you make barrels?
I don't know.
They have robots for that now. I guess you can't be a Cooper anymore.
Yeah.
Super Coop 60. Oh or was it Snoop Coop?
No, that's what you called me.
Huh? That's what I called you?
Snoop Coop, yeah.
Snoop Coop, that's right.
Okay, yeah. All right. Let's talk about this last story, and then I'm going to wrap it up here. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fucking nickname you tried getting over. You know which one I'm talking about.
Snoop Coop?
No.
Wait. I don't remember.
Big.
What? Oh, yeah.
So, I was dating this girl at the time, and we had
gave me that name.
We had this guy, and he was kind of an asshole sometimes, but whatever. But like, he kept calling me Big Nasty.
Who was it?
Herwick.
Who?
Herwick.
Was he on the bus?
Yeah. Not our bus, but he was on my bus when I moved to Winston Street.
Okay.
So he kept calling me Big Nasty, and I was just like, dude, why are you calling me that? Like, I finally fucking had it one day because I thought it was an insult towards me. He was like, no, your girl, man. Like, you know, people don't think she's attractive and everything, so we call her Big Nasty. And, you know, considering two other girls I dated in high school, she was a fucking, you know.
You should have punched that guy.
It came close one time, but whatever.
You should have hit him in the jaw.
So I told Justice about this. I was like, you know why fucking Herwick is calling me Big Nasty? And he's like, no, why? And I told him why, and he was just like, Big Nasty. Big Nasty. Like, it just stuck in Justice's brain.
I called you Big Nasty.
Big Nasty. He's like, dude, that'd make a sick wrestling name. And I was just like, no. He's like, dude, like, at the time I was writing fantasy and actually sending it to people. And he was like, dude, you should write that in, man. Big Nasty. You should write that in. Big Nasty. Like, stuck with it and shit. And like to the point where like he's calling me this at school. And I'm like, please stop. You know? Finally that Britney Spears song Boys came out to the point where he's like, oh dude, they're saying Big Nasty in the song. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking stab you. You know, like, God, man, like fucking he tried really hard to get this nickname over and just I refuse to let him.
That's I remember that vaguely.
Vaguely?
Well, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember it that way. I kind of do. I mean, you obviously remember it more than me. Well, I should have told you to hit that guy in the face, man. That's. Oh, I should have told you. That's what I tell you now. Like.
Oh, I can hit that guy in the face, but I can't hit M. Keith in the face.
Who?
Keith.
Oh, but he's just like screwing around.
Oh,
like he's
fuck
not.
him. If he walked in this room right now, I'd fucking gut him like a fish.
He's probably a completely different person, man.
I don't give
like,
a fuck if he is or not. Fuck him.
You don't forget or leave anything.
I sure as fuck don't.
You don't. You don't. You do not.
Yeah.
Well, you haven't been perfect to everybody either, William. So
Oh
remember
yeah?
that.
Name one person I haven't been perfect to.
Oh my. What? You think you've been perfect to everybody you've ever met?
Name one.
Man. You told my mom that I was drinking.
That was to protect you.
Oh, no, I was thinking, you were mad at me about something. That ain't nothing to protect me.
Okay, name another.
Don't act like you're some kind of disciple or something. Some like working for the church. So I was trying to save you from the
I was trying to save you from the devil.
You were not trying to save me from nothing. You were mean to John. You weren't nice to John.
I was nice to John.
All the time.
I was nice to John until he became a dick.
You're mean to John. John's weird. I don't want to stay at John's house no more. John's strange. I can't believe John would do that.
I'm sorry, but when you have a rusted porcelain toilet, I'm not gonna stay there anymore.
You're making fun of. Anyway.
Whatever.
You're not nice to everybody. You're like, I'm Jesus to everybody. Like everybody, you never.
I never claimed to be Jesus to everybody. But you act like I was a dick. You act like I was a dick to everybody when I wasn't.
No. Yeah, look, I'm not saying that. You weren't. Obviously, you weren't. Like.
But now you're just like pulling shit out. You're like, you told my mom I was drinking. Like, I wasn't a dick to her. I was only a dick to John because, like, fucking he was a dick to me.
One time, you pantsed your nephew. He looked just like you. It was funny. I remember he looked just like you. I was like a little you.
And now I hate that whole family.
Do you not? You don't keep in touch with him?
No, hell no.
He's got to be. How old is he now?
24.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of Justice here. Finally got him on. So hopefully you guys enjoyed some of the stories we told you in our conversation here. So yeah, maybe one day we can get the fucking full uncensored version. Maybe one day. I don't know how, but maybe one day. Don't hold your breath though. So yeah, until next week, guys. I'm the ArtistVersion1, and remember, be breezy.